Okay. Okay, maybe. Please be working this time. Okay, it still shows that I'm up. Now will it stay working? Will it stay working? Please. Okay, trying to see if this is going to load for me properly. Just wanted to give you guys a quick video, a quick live stream about these 6-star territories that we were anticipating so much. We were really hoping that we were going to get, you know, some really good territories, and instead we got something a little less favorable, in my opinion. These territories, they're not worth fighting over, in my opinion. Like these dog paw pins, you know, outside of the WoC region, I can see a lot of people, you know, wanting these tokens, because you know what, it does get you an S-class tune, but but because of how WoC is set up, where you could transfer in like after the event started, you could have double dipped in order to get more of these tokens for Marlin and Rosie. Like, see here, I have all these, like I already have a lot of these cards. Like it says that I should still need 4,000 cards for Marlin and Rosie, but when we take a look over here, you can see that I only need 1,000 more for him. And then on top of that, because of their leash gate, I was actually able to claim the 22 leashes I need in order to upgrade Marlin and Rosie. This event just, I was hoping for some armory tokens. I was hoping to actually see some factions, you know, maybe fight over a couple territories, because the idea of actually being able to hold a territory for 2 hours in this region seems insane to me. But now I don't see many people really paying much attention to them. Like it's been what, about 10 minutes or so, and none of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 territories have been claimed. Like these ones down here, it's 20 dog paw pins for 2 hours of holding. That's just ridiculous to me. Hey there. Yeah, all the territories are the buttons. I don't think anyone's very happy with this in general. Thankfully, I didn't bet everything on these territories. You know, I still have a couple of ideas of some things I can show you guys. Oh, hold on. Let me just respond. Yes, I am going to stream WoC, and there will be commentary, unless I am sleeping, because then I'm probably gonna mute it. I'll like turn off the mic, but I'll leave it on the scoreboard for you guys, because usually I wake up through the night a bit in order to war, and that's just kind of what I do. I will end up doing one of these roadmaps here, and I'll kind of just talk about what's going on in the WoC region, kind of what my thoughts are as well. The chart told me, like there's a chart that someone put out regarding which roadmap to do, either Ivanova, Romanov, or Raven. And you know, it's like you can do it strategically in order to get certain pieces, because obviously like doing this one will give you different rewards than if you end up doing the Ivanova one. Like it'll all end with the same like straitjacket, but I guess it's kind of about what storyline you want and kind of what gear you need. So from what I'm reading with a chart, Ivanova gives you the most amount of medals, so 110,000 silver medals and 100 gold medals are to note, while Raven, it looks like it looks like there's a lot of gear markers and 4-star weapon tokens, which is alright. For Romanov, it seems like there's an extra trainer in there. Oh, long coats. I need some long coats. Practice dummies. And SR fill. I'm very low on SR fills, so not only am I going to do Romanov's roadmap because of SR fills, but I'm also doing it because I like the story from last year where Davy was all about Ajax. Well, Ajax for me at least, because I picked it. And yeah, so I'm going to just kind of auto through this roadmap for you guys while I talk about WoC and kind of what's been going on in this region. I'll also be taking questions from you guys in the live stream chat, of course. Yes, yesterday video, Dwight attack crit. You checked him. He is an attack and HP lead. That's a different Dwight. So there's a Dwight that everyone got recently that had HP and attack, but there's also a Dwight. I think it's a new threat Dwight. Dwight with a bound weapon, bound crossbow. With a bound crossbow. Hey, man on the moon, how's it going? Oh, I do like this story. You know, like being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, I appreciate that they're including something like this, even if it's with Crazy Davy. I would have liked to see better rewards in the map, because right now, free-to-play players aren't even going to get 100 S-Class items from this roadmap, because you only get balloon drops from the last roadmap, which you need the 3 straight jackets in order to complete. So right now it's completely pay-to-play, which in my opinion is just annoying, because it's like, you know, it's farming for balloons, I get it, but could they not have even given us 100 S-Class items? And I'm also kind of complaining about that because I'm 100 S-Class items away from Mercer, which would have been great to have for the WoC, of course. Is he available on the 5-star wheel? That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, actually, if he's on the 5-star wheel or not. I can take a look after this, of course, but we'll see. Hey, Jiren, or is it Jiren? Jiren? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your name, but I assure you I'm a very newbie player. My roster kind of shows that too, but you are very, very kind. There are lots of really good players in the WoC region, and I am super excited for this weekend. I'm going to be streaming a lot of matches. I'm going to be showing off kind of my attack teams, but also taking a look at other people's defense teams. I'm going to be kind of talking about the strategy that I use when I go about attacking these different teams, especially with how I make a decision on like what team I'm going to use, or if I'm going to use Priya with Rampage or Priya with Daze. Oh, he is in the wheel. Okay, that's good to know. That's really good to know, because I will actively try to pull for that Dwight. Has anyone figured out roughly how much that farming is costing them? Farming of the very last roadmap? I'm not exactly sure, Moon. I've heard some people get some really small pulls and then some decently high ones, and by like high, I think someone got 1,000, but then they also got 1. So it seems to be all over the map again. Either Premier or Elite tokens. Okay, so if the crossbow Dwight's on Premier and the Elite tokens, I'm definitely going to be saving some Elite tokens from War and trying to make some pulls there, because I would really love to have that tune. I'm thinking about starting on my 2nd Priya soon, because if Princess cards are still very much unavailable, it's kind of difficult to say I'm going to go for this tune when there are no resources for me to go for them. Add in right now that we're having issues with the red cake rewards, because right now with red cakes, like, they only had Wangfa up this week. There's usually 2 tunes, and if they're just reducing all the way down to 1 tune, then it's just going to be very challenging and frustrating for a lot of players. I know that, like, right now we didn't really have another promo tune, so there wasn't anyone they could pair up with it, but I don't know, I was kind of hoping for a bit more. I would really like to see them update the roadmap for torches about which S-Class items you can get, same as for arenas and for the red cake rewards, of course. Like, there's just so many areas I think that need to be updated with what's current, or at least only be a couple behind, because I'm pretty sure that for arenas we have keys, we have cakes, we have bullets, we have other cakes. I think we stopped before Henyon? Oh no, just after Henyon. I don't think that there are Gal cards up there yet. Oh, and there's a question. I'm a returning player after retiring for 2 years. Hold on, just give me 1 second. Just going to put this on auto again. who should I focus on to get first as S-Class? I'm heavy on good melee tunes, and I had Doc Stevens from the Epic offer. Okay, Doc Stevens can work in almost any team. Hello, Ginger. Doc Stevens is a great tune because so long as there isn't an angel, and even if there is, if you have a Daze Resist mod, and you're able to avoid Angel's Daze to begin with, then you're going to be in a good position to rush your team either on turn 1 or on turn 2, depending on the tunes that you use. Part of this video, by the way, I'm also going to go through the people who have rated me, because right now I just have a 5-star Abraham up, so I'm going to show you kind of the teams that other people have been attacking me with, and you're going to kind of see a similar pattern, I think, to what people are using, and I'm going to kind of give you some insight onto why I think they're using these specific tunes in that combination. So first S-Class to go for, sorry, Abdullah, I think Priya is amazing. I think Priya is a great combination of control as well as power. So when Priya rushes, she exhibits a lot of power because she can do 3 attacks, or if she has Rampage and double attack, it's actually raised to between 3 and 18 attacks on a rush, which is pretty insane in my opinion. Like, that's a huge amount, and it's really beneficial if you're starting out to have a tune that can both exhibit a lot of power and control. The daze on her weapon is basically one of a kind. There's not many other tunes that can daze the enemy, and what daze does is that it prevents a tune from using their active skill, and as we know, active skills are a big part of the game, especially in a mode like Onslaught or in War, when you're up against a turn 1 attack or defense team that utilizes Dr. Stevens and his active skill. So I would definitely say Priya, and her ice cream cones are very widely available, so it's not like you'll be trying to hunt them down. It'll be just something that naturally comes to you. Doing 1 at a time to make sure you only have 4 days to max a tune versus having 7 if you pull the tune that comes up first. Maybe, I get that, but at the same time I know that like a lot of people are kind of disappointed because like Wang Fa is technically a free-to-play tune, because you could have gone for him and actively achieved him as a free-to-play player. Like what I've been doing with my S-Class tunes is I've been investing my S-Class items forward, so I keep on getting at least 1 copy of a new tune, and then also focusing extra energy and time and effort on the tune that I want to go for next. So like I just got a Raw of last week, which has been amazing. Like, he is such a powerful tune, and I'm really lucky to have him. The biggest downside is that he can get exhausted or maimed to death very easily, so I do have a high maim resist on him. He's a great tune that I plan on using for WoC, but I'm still kind of experimenting with him, because with new characters I like to spend a lot of time working out their kinks and figuring out their strong points and their weak points, because, you know, seeing a tune versus actually using one in practice is very different. Okay, so he's not on the wheels, might have been a daily pull, makes sense. Yes. Speed leveling is always something that drains people. Right now there's not even a lot of speed leveling going on in my opinion because of the gear requirements and the gear restrictions. Right now we're just in this situation where gear is not readily available. We have a huge bottleneck in gear. We have a huge bottleneck in armory tokens, in varnish, and in grease, or not grease, but the other one. And it feels like we are always behind on everything. So as soon as there's an offer that goes out, like I think I saw a $50 offer today that had the varnish, that had the blowtorches, and that had armory tokens, and I can definitely see players buying that, especially just before WoC. The 50k tokens means that you would be able to 5-star one weapon, or attempt to upgrade weapons a number of different times. So it's pretty crazy to me how, you know, how we're being bottlenecked and choked out at multiple different points, and it's almost overwhelming at times because, you know, as top players of a game, especially in WoC, I see a lot of these players, you know, trying to max out these tunes, but they're going to have to spend quite a bit in order to do it. Tinfoil hat, yeah. After Priya, a Raw repeat. Okay, so My issue with Pete is that so many people can, like, get him very easily. Like, I'm still not grinding out Pete intensely. He's going to come when he comes, and I don't find him as useful as he was before, being one of the first S-Class tunes. Now that we're a number of S-Class tunes in, he's just an AP game tune to me at the moment, because unless you 5-star his weapon, or you craft stun directly onto him, he's giving away AP to the enemy consistently. And to me, that is not very valuable. There are other tunes that I can use instead that would prove to be so much more valuable and useful. So I'm going to pass on using my items in order to get him. Like, I am less than 1,000 S-Class items away from Pete, and I have, I believe, 900 S-Class items in bags right now, or 950, and I'm just sitting on them because if I end up getting a collection where I can collect 1,100 S-Class cards for Mercer, I'm not going to open those bags for Mercer. Oh, yep, like the stream and subscribe. I always forget that. Thank you, GBZ. Yes, the bottlenecks. I never have coins just because I'm always using them for war or getting specific items that I need right at that moment, like even to get across milestones for, like, Survivor Road, for example. Like, it's a lot of energy and time and a management of resources, and it's difficult because sometimes when you do push, it means that you're leaving yourself exposed for the next event that comes up, because you might end up using all of your tins and all of a sudden you can't even make the 2,400 milestone in the raid event, which can be very annoying. Like, I know that I ended up pushing in the last raid event in order to get top 10, and to a lot of players this doesn't seem like much. Like, I had to go up to 10,000, just past 10,000 trophies, but I was smart in choosing my battles, so I was averaging 33 to 34 trophies a match just by keeping my general team grade low, so I was always attacking higher team grades, and because of that difference in team grade, I was getting more trophies during the raid. Hey, Mama Deadhead, yes, it's a cute princess. She is only a 6-star. The S-Class one is much stronger, but yeah. Very good tune. One of the best tunes in the game, actually. Oh, yeah. Well, quitting, like, that's the thing, right? The game gets to be a lot sometimes, especially with all these bottlenecks and all these requirements, and I'm glad that Scopely recently cracked down a bit more on the cheating, because, like, I like a game that has some integrity to it, and I also have some ill thoughts and feelings, I guess, towards how the sweeps started, because it's like it happens once or twice a year where a bunch of players are banned or suspended, and it becomes this huge spectacle, and it's so focused on the players that were, like, banned and suspended, and instead we should really also think about, like, the company in some ways. If they were doing, like, monthly sweeps or even sweeps every 2 months, I think that there would be less people who would be trying to manipulate the system, or if there were offers that were a little bit better for the players. Like, I remember when the trainer offers used to be, $10 for a decent number of trainers, which in itself is just pixels. Like, it's not like players right now can really use all these trainers anyway because of a Geargate, and people are buying from third-party sites, probably because of, like, how difficult it is to level up in the game and to stay consistent and constant with the progress of the game, because it feels like we're kind of just being streamlined and pushed through, like, a single door instead of a widespread door where everyone can fit. And the faster you get through the door, the better off you are. Do you get that Marlin okay, I do not have Marlin and Rosie yet. I'm 1,000 cards away, and I do have 22 leashes already that, I'm glad that he uses a different type of, upgrade item, just because it means that I don't need to use, like, my valuable gear, because right now to upgrade S-Class tunes, it's costing an enormous amount of gear, and again, it's gear, and it's just so hard to keep up and to consistently do well. Like, right now in the WoC region, I'm going to finish something like 450th or something, or maybe it's 600th in the level up event, and I'm okay with that. I got to my 5K dog pins, and then some. And it's just, as a free-to-play player, I don't have the same number of resources as other players do in order to reach all those milestones. And even players who got to the 3 million milestone marker, I'm pretty sure they only ended up like in 200 for something like that. So it's crazy how competitive this region is, but at the same time I do understand. Like, in my region, I am something like 30th in rank overall, and in this region, I'm back at like 320th. So I know rep doesn't mean much, it's just a number in the end, but it's just an idea of how long some of these other players have played for in order to accumulate that rep. Hey Trailer Trasher. Everything's going good here so far, kind of. It's been a bit of a rough day, actually. Had some class before. In a few minutes, I will actually have to run off stream for a second. I'll just leave this on auto, but I need to go and move my car in a second, just so that I don't get a ticket. Oh wow, you run YGL 24/7? I can't do that, because if I end up doing that, then I'm gonna run out of tunes to level, and that means points to me. Ah, Mama Deadhead, you don't need to donate or do anything. Thank you, but I would rather money go towards anything right now that's happening in the world, because there is so many devastating and terrible things going on. Like, it just baffles me sometimes with how many things that we are unaware of that is affecting us indirectly in some way, shape, or form. Like, January was one heck of a month in my opinion. I know I've talked about it a lot, with all the earthquakes, with all the volcanoes, with the one plane being shot down, with the military base being bombed. Like, there's just so much going on in the world, and there's so many things that we can do in order to help the world. Like, I am not doing YouTube and stuff like this in order to make money. I am actively just trying to help people as much as I can. Like, I enjoy doing this. I find it to be very relaxing for me, and it's very rewarding that people actually want to hear what I have to say. And you know what, I feel honored that I have this opportunity and this platform. Mama Deadhead, I didn't mean for you to retract your message, and I hope I didn't scare you off here. I do really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And oh well, hello Athena. I heard you're doing well at school and that you're having a great time. Fires, Corona, Australia. Yes, there is a lot going on right now. Regarding the coronavirus, I think the media is making it out to be, more like making us feel more fearful than we have to be in some cases. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great information going around. That was an alarm going off on my phone. But as I was saying, like, we need to be vigilant, and we need to be aware of how the media sometimes tries to influence us. It's kind of crazy, really, because everyone kind of has some bias towards what they say and what they do. Like, I have my own bias, of course, as well. But just wash your hands, be aware of the people around you, try to keep things sanitary, and safe. Just be aware, right? And try to not be, I don't know exactly how to word this, but I was reading in the paper the other day, because like the coronavirus came out of Wuhan, and there's actually a Wuhan noodle shop that is kind of in my area, and they were receiving racist comments and death threats even, just because of their so-called association. And to me, it's more like being uneducated about the subject. And I'm not saying that I'm an expert on it. I really should do some more reading on it as well. But I'm just saying, before we start throwing around hurtful words and sayings, and try to understand a little more about what's going on around us. Let me see. I'm glad you find my voice soothing. Corona isn't dangerous for most living in Western states, but it hits a country with high population and low infrastructure, yeah, and health services, of course. Like, in Canada, I believe that there are 3 confirmed cases right now, with 2 of them being in Toronto. The 2 in Toronto were to a husband and wife who had visited China. So, just, be vigilant, be careful, try to wash your hands often, and okay, hold on, sorry. I'm gonna have to move my car in a second. All good. Hello, Athena. I sometimes struggle with my R's, so I try very, very hard to be articulate with what I say, because sometimes I know I miss them a little bit, and it's kind of funny, actually. And yeah, for anyone who has friends or family in some of the areas that have been affected by, either the coronavirus, either by war, poverty, the fires in Australia, the earthquakes in Puerto Rico, off of the coast of, I believe it was Jamaica as well, the volcanoes in the Philippines, just anywhere you are, like, just good thoughts towards you guys. I know that there's not much that I can do, but I really hope that everyone's doing okay and that everyone's safe. Hello, Lockdown. Welcome to the stream. This was going to be a stream more about the limited time territories, but as we've seen, the limited time territories are not something most people want. The dog paw pins are a little bit on the flip side of what we were anticipating, but at the same time, it means that there's less drama in the WoC region, so I'm pretty good with that. Like, I was expecting, if they had raised the S-Class items up to 100 S-Class items every hour, I would have been very intrigued to see if any faction would have tried to actually hold down a place for an hour, because that would have required a lot of coins, and it would have required a lot of time, like vigilant watching. And I think the toughest part would be, no one wants to show off their best defense right now. Everyone is trying their best to hide their defenses, and I totally understand why. Like, you don't want to give too much away before war starts, or even during war, because obviously you're not going to match everyone right away, and you don't want to give people a sneak peek at what you're actually running. So it's been kind of fun. Right now I've just been practicing against my own teammates, practicing with my new teams, and it's been challenging. It's very difficult, I find, in the WoC region to do well in events, as well as actually finding a person to raid, because most people I've found are dropped down to a trainer, or Rocket Abe is a very consistent tune I see up. I'm surprised I don't see more Earls, just because of how much people dislike Earl. Like, I've just been praying to Earl that I'll get one crit weapon done before war that I actually want. Right now I'm on very low weapon tokens, so it's becoming increasingly difficult, but I'm just trying to upgrade the last few weapons that I have before the real war starts. And yes, I think they really did miss a chance to let the whales fight. I was totally ready, and I was going to be, so into it, but from afar. Like, I already gave up on actually getting, like, one of the territories. I was kind of like, we're just gonna sit back, we're gonna watch as everyone else goes at it, but because of the change, I guess, I don't even know if you can call it a change, but the dog paw pins, and at such low rates, like 40 or 20 paw pins every 2 hours, it's really not worth it. Even getting 200 or 100 of them at the end isn't really that much. Like, I can see most players actually already having Marlin and Rosie if they're in the WoC region, because if they had reached level up milestones before transferring over, they could have redeemed their Marlin and Rosie cards there, and then redeemed more of them here based on the level up event that we already had. And because of the leash gate, as you Lockdown already showed, it's like people have everything they need in order to get this tune. was going to switch over and just watch the update log, like, yeah, like popcorn. Yeah, it would have been really funny. I was going to try hitting some of them just to see like what type of teams that they're throwing in there, to see if there would be any actual real defenses, if the prizes were better. But I just feel like they missed the mark. They had a big opportunity, but they only ended up opening like 6 of the territories, which I also understand, because in non-WoC regions, for other players, this event might actually be useful. It still would have been better, in my opinion, if they had a choice box, so you got to choose which S-Class items you got, and just included the paw pins in there as well, instead of limiting it to only paw pins. Let's see, what else am I missing in the chat? Oh, more of a story. Don't eat bats. Yep. Burning cans on those territories just to farm survivors and trophies. Yep. And I feel like that's almost a tinfoil hat moment, Moon, about the doing these rewards specifically in territories so that there doesn't end up being an actual war in WoC. I think it would have been a great way for them to actually make some, well, get people to spend some coins, and that wouldn't have bothered me as much, only because like I wasn't going to really participate in it because I already know my position for this. But it does definitely help like simmer down any rivalries and tempers, I guess, and it keeps things civil. Hello Truth, hello Vinci. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we find out on Monday. 4 territories still not open. Is it really just 4? I know that there's like a few on the low part of a map that aren't open, and you're right, Baltimore wasn't, but I feel like there would have been more. Weird. Weird. Oh, regarding the Horde event, they need to fix the Horde event before they can run it again, because by allowing S-Class tunes into the game, it just became impossible. Like, I remember the last Horde event that we did where Kapoor was in it, even. Just Kapoor. And Kapoor, in my opinion, is not that good of a tune. Like, I was struggling a lot. And Hordes is one of my favorite events, and it was just frustrating because the walkers didn't scale up enough, but there weren't enough S-Class tunes either. So if you scaled the walkers up too much, then it would be a walk in the park. But because of how much the S-Class tunes scaled up, then it still is a walk in the park. Like, if I just ran Priya on my defense in Walker Hordes, and I set her up so that she gets a critical hit, well, as long as she gets that critical hit, then her Rampage could go off, as well as her double attack. When Priya rushes, and she has Rampage and double attack, she can hit 3 to 18 times. So there's really no amount of walkers, in my opinion, that you could use in order to prevent that. Let's see. They should have just had choice boxes at the end reward to make a huge battle at the end without making it non-stop. Yeah. Or even the cakes. Like, I still don't understand why it's the dog paw pins. It seems so bizarre to me. How many coins would you guess top factions will spend in the WoC war? I don't even want to guess how much they're going to spend that way. Like, right now in the WoC region, there's an event mission for war cans, where it's a faction event, and I'll actually show you in just a second, because it's based on the number of cans that you end up getting. Hold on, I'll claim that. So here, war refills. So for every 100 war refills as a faction, everyone in your faction will get 1. And this just keeps scaling up all the way to 1,750 war refills, which will help actually, like, during war, because, you know, you'll earn cans all the time from claiming towers, from beating players, from MVP. But let's see how many cans they're saying. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 13, 17, 21, 31 cans up for grabs. So, okay, this is kind of funny. 611, 1.5 million points. But, as I was saying, like, there's just a ridiculous amount of spending that would have to happen to reach that last milestone, in my opinion. Well, maybe it's not ridiculous, but it just seems like a lot. and I'm gonna leave this on auto for a second. I actually have to move my car, so I will be back in like 2 minutes. Okay, and I'm back. Let's see. Okay, pause at the 2-hour reward, but it's only 40 or 20. That's my issue with it. It's just such a low quantity. Especially for how many you actually need, and the increments that you need them at. Okay, I'm a little out of breath, so just give me a second as I catch my breath. Okay, and last part here. But a box of some sort at the end would have been nice, yep. Could be banned, only reason it would happen. Only reason what happened? I guess I missed something. Oh, gotcha. On videos, do you guys have new walkers or anything where SR levels added? SR levels were added up to, I think, 400 now. Something like that. I'm still not actively doing it. I don't find the motivation to all the time unless there's I don't even know what I'm looking for at this point, but it's basically whenever I get around to it. Walkers were added to nightmare mode, so those walkers are the same walkers that we see in hordes now. Also, Link, in my region, my faction is getting bullied and harassed by all the big factions, and the reason it's been going for about 4 months since we transferred and Wave reported them in message scopes. That's tough. Like, it's really difficult sometimes because, like, larger factions obviously have a lot more power in the game, and it's a little unfortunate, in my opinion, that players and factions have to act a certain way to other people in the region. Like, there's a difference between being competitive and just being mean, in my opinion. You know, like, there obviously has to be winners and losers in a game because that's how a game functions, but there's a right and wrong way of doing it. No, the goblins, they steal everything. What are you stealing? And being in 1A for war has been a struggle. Yes. Yes. Being in 1A has been a struggle. Like, I know I've been struggling a lot. It's been hard for me to keep up with everyone else. Like, I'm not getting tunes as fast as everyone else. Well, not everyone else, but the players who spend, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Like, I understand. Sorry, guys, was just reading the story a bit. Something here that bothers me is that there's no way I can get any of these balloon things. Liliths are available, 4-star weapons and stuff, but people were asking about the balloons, which are listed in here. So to get these heart balloons, like, you'd think it'd be possible for free-to-play players to at least get 1,500 balloons to get this 100 S-class character card item, or if we move on, like, this stuff I could see as being, like, pay-to-play, 300, and then the last one being 2,600, as well as your, what is this, varnish, and what's the other one? Is it grease? It is engine grease. But the only way you can get that is if you unlock this roadmap here. But to unlock this roadmap, you need to do Ivanovas, Romanovs, and Ravens. So to me, this is kind of like a missed opportunity, because although free-to-play we're able to do Love Start and then one of the other 3 roadmaps, it's really unfortunate that we don't have the opportunity to do a little more to even earn a somewhat decent reward, because like although I do like that I got a little bit of gear and stuff, it just doesn't seem like it was much at all. And now just to jump in to see how these territories are going. So Zenthia Tsunami, and let's see, we're just going to take a look because we're going to get a glimpse at some players' attack teams. So this person ends up using a lot of Zac, so that's maim damage, Holly to keep them alive, and Priya is the lead, of course, Xander for his command. Oh, this team could be, would be a turn 1 rushing one of the Priyas, I think. I gotta think about this for a second, because it could be 2 of them, I think. Because if both those Priyas have 20% AP weapons to self, and if Doc and Harper have 8% weapons, you know what, they might still be short, actually, but it's pretty close. It's a turn 2 for sure. That's the one we saw before. This team, a little less S-Class heavy. It uses a Pete in order to help revive the tunes. It's a bit of a slower attack team in my opinion. This governor that's being used, Lockdown did a video where he compared the governor to the Romanov that we got, and somehow this Generation 1 governor has a better attack with his rush than the Romanov that we got later. Oh, 400 was the old max, my bad. Let's see, I just do 4 stages for the 10k markers. That's smart. The 10k markers are definitely important and helpful. Okay, I am so far behind in your comments right now. I'm going to be reading them as I kind of go through some more of these teams. This right here, this is an auto attack team, 100% in my opinion. It's relying upon the bleed and the maim damage, with Doc rushing early, Leopold to apply some control, and Pete to revive. The team we just saw. This team, it could be a turn 1 rushing team. If there's 20% on a Rov, that would be 14 AP, and the 60% is 40, I think, and then you need 2 8%. So if Michelle and Doc had 8% weapons, but you could still get a Rov to rush on turn 1 by just attacking with him and commanding him after using Doc, which means he would rush twice on the first turn, 3 times on the second turn. Let me see. Oh, 5 platinum mods from the 7% box. That's pretty dang good, in my opinion. This team here. So, this is one of those teams. Oh, I can look at weapons, actually. So that's kind of helpful. I forgot that you could do this. You can't look at mods, but you do get the weapons. So, they could have made this a little faster. That 8% is nice. Is there 20%? Nope. So there's Rampage on a Daze weapon, which is alright. You know, like, I actually love looking through different teams here, because you can kind of get a view about what other people are attacking with, and it can give you some direction as to what to do with your defense sometimes as well. So this is something I really enjoy doing. Maiming. Left Pete, and this is why I don't like Pete again. This weapon right here, it just gives away AP, because you can have a windowless team otherwise, but Pete, because of his bound weapon, just makes you susceptible if you use him on defense. That's an interesting weapon. Yep, so some interesting weapons and stuff there. Yeah, I wait for sales as well. Still haven't gotten a plat mod from the mystery. I've gotten a couple plat mods from the mystery boxes, but they haven't really been that good. Oh, time to see if this is 8%. Is this 8%? Ah, it's not 8%. Okay, so this is a turn 2 attack team right here, not a turn 1. So they're holding on right there. Deviant Spartans. Oh, someone from my faction attacked. So this is a bleed team. I'm not going to show you the weapons on it. Someone failed here, so let's see this defensive team. AP down. Okay, so this one basically just has a bunch of payback tunes in it. Oh, cleanse. This is a nice weapon right here. Missing 2% on the HP, but stun when being attacked. Cleanse, a better chance to remove one negative effect from this character at the start of every turn. That is very effective, in my opinion. That'd be a nice weapon to put on Mia, for example, because during her Outlast phase, in case she was impaired or confused, if she had that cleanse, she would be able to cleanse of one of those abilities, and she might be able to use her active skill to bring someone back. Oh, don't be sorry, Mama Deadhead. I know I'm very late on saying that, but Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, enjoy. I know I'm very late, but enjoy it. I find this hilarious that everyone in chat is watching. That is everyone I watch on YouTube. Yeah, well, you know, lots of support, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy to see my fellow YouTubers also tuning in. It's nice to see that. This attack team, to me, seems a bit slow, because both Angel, Carl, and Kapoor are not attacking tunes. This defensive team, I like Sherry as a tune. I think she's an interesting character to have. Does this have stun? He does. You know, like a lot of these attack teams that you end up seeing people use, they follow a similar format. You know, everyone should be having an attack lead. Oh, here's a princess. It's not an S-class, but still, it's a very good tune. You know, like main compositions for teams, you want to look for a true leader, which Priya is, with at least plus 40% attack. This one's plus 50% because it's S-class, and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. You want some sort of control if you can. This team kind of has a bit of control because of Angel, so she can stop any tunes that use AP gains. So I did a video on Exhaust and how effective it can be. Harper is here, so a disarming tune with this buff, or debuff, sorry. So debuffs, in my opinion, are very important. So the minus 50 attack and minus 50 defense to all can be super effective to help line up kills for your other tunes. A commander, I think a commander is needed in every single attack team. It just gives you a bit more control, and you can also get that killing blow off just a little faster. And then Princess is a great tune to have. She's another damage dealer but also controller, and this active skill is completely unique. So yeah, lots of people actively attacking, probably just to get some points and stuff. It's really quite interesting to see, like, the factions that have taken these territories. You know, they're being beat down still. Like, you see 27,200, 48,000. iZombies are doing well here. But it's like, people are still actively attacking, but I don't think that they really want the territory, or the issue of holding it for 2 hours. Like, 2 hours for 20 pins just is ridiculous to me. I am 95 cards away from Mercer, by the way. I'm gonna show you guys. It shows more here, but that's because I've set it up that way, kind of. So I have 4,955 Mercer cards. I have 2 Mercers maxed out, but in my inbox, we're gonna scroll. I have 50 cards. I'm gonna open that. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350 cards, 650, 950 cards that I have just stored, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. So it's a little annoying, because it's like I'm so close, and I would have loved to have them for WoC, but unfortunately I'm not going to have that opportunity. And I guess while I have you guys here, I may as well do my my free entry into classic mode here. So going to try out my main attack team. This is the one where I have Days not on my Priya anymore, but I have Rampage. I'm going to try to hit these last 5 teams. Now, this is going to be very, very difficult, and I'm going to say I don't know if I'm going to win. Like, with Mercer leads, I found them to be one of the most challenging leads in the game at the moment because you don't know who's going to end up stunned first. And these teams here are near turn 1 teams. This one here, with the double Arav, is probably definitely a turn 1 team. Oh. They've crafted an S17, S17, S17 plus, F17 plus plus, S18. Okay. So the last one's a bleed team. So my Glenn can recover bleed, which will help. This team, the Pete one, I think is the easiest one for me to beat, but I'm going to try on this one anyway. And we're going to see. Okay, so most of my stun resist worked, which is nice. No mods there. Oh, no mods? Interesting. But I'm not going to complain. Did he got Rampage on Mercer? That's interesting to me. Oh, and I triggered that because of my own Rampage, which is one of the biggest annoyances I think I found, because I can't control where Rampage hits, of course, which can be a huge issue, but at the same time, when it works for me and it works the way it should, then it makes matches end a lot faster. So that one I only had one that was stunned, and it wasn't a big deal. It was my commander, and my commander, I don't end up rushing him anyway, so that was pretty lucky. Okay, I think I'm finally closing down towards the bottom of his conversation because I am so behind still. I am not a tech wizard. Okay, this is awesome. So I had no one stunned to start, which doesn't happen very often. So there's a taunt resist there, another taunt resist. So I'm actually going to end up attacking with Priya first. Okay, nothing happened. I don't know why it came up as stun resist stuff right now, but it doesn't really matter. I find that the animation stuff has been a little late as of late. I'm just glad that I wasn't stunned to start off with. It means I have an opportunity here. I do need to kill Arav. I do need to kill Doc. Oh, and there goes Rampage. So as you see, it ended up killing both Dr. Stevens and Maggie. So it's like a helpful surprise when it does happen. It doesn't always happen, but it's nice when it does. And when I'm using this team, I need to remember to end up attacking with Priya first, if I can, because I don't know where her Rampage will affect, and I need to use Cole afterwards in order to control in case she ends up triggering someone else's rush. Oh, I'm seeing, can you show your Glen? Yeah, I can definitely show my Glen off to you guys. Hold on. Will it let me? Yeah. So, my Glen here, you know, his rush is pretty basic, confuse, which is useful, plus 65% attack, and defense for 3 turns, active recover bleed, which I find very helpful against bleed teams on defense. Mod-wise, I have stun resist, HP, defense versus alert, as well as a graze mod. And the graze mod is just because he's a generation 1 toon, so even with the rings I've given him, and the HP and the defense, he's still very, weak compared to other toons. It's also because my Diego has my defensive stun weapon, so this is not the type of weapon I actually want to give Glenn. The type I want to give him is this one that Diego actually holds. It's just I find Diego is more important to my team than Glenn is at times. Even though Glenn is my commander, Diego, I need him for his rush as well as his active skill. So it's just about finding that balance and figuring out who you need in a certain position. Okay, next team. Let's see how lucky I am with these stuns again. Okay, so Glenn is the one who ends up stunned a lot, and everyone else kind of does alright, so that's good. Going to attack here, and that's what I mean again. If I'd used Cole's active skill to start, I probably would have used it on Priya, but now I'm in a position where, okay, I don't have to use it on Pete, but I could have had to use it on Pete. I'm still going to use this active skill here, because Cole also cuts their attack power, so that if Priya, for instance, had Rampage on her, she would end up doing less damage to my team than usual, which would be definitely important. So it's kind of like a hit or miss on some of these teams and toons that you have to use, and when to use certain abilities. Like, oh, and I definitely had Rampage trigger there. So as you see, when Rampage triggers and double attack triggers, and Priya just does what Priya does, matches can end very quickly, but you do need to find that balance. Like, I'm still trying to find that balance between power and control, and it's a very difficult line because of the uncertainty. Like, if I had team player, say on James, so that it would give Priya more attack as well as a critical chance of actually having a critical hit, then I would feel more confident in using Rampage because I know it would trigger more often. Okay, let's see. Okay, so like this one here, their Priya has this has Rampage and double attack, and I think it's the good double attack. So I'm definitely gonna want to taunt her. She doesn't have the mods set up. I'm going to. Oh, I gotta think here. I might try to hit Mia first, but if I hit Negan first, then I can get rid of that impair potentially. So I did, and I got the double attack. I'm going to taunt here, and I'm going to try and stun Priya. I didn't get the stun, but I did cut her attack, so even if she had that Rampage damage, it would be less effective. Now here, Mia cannot use her active skill yet because it's turn 3, so if I can kill her right now, she can't rush, even though she's an Outlast because of the impair, but she also can't use her active skill yet because it's not ready. So I'm okay with Negan providing more HP as well as I think AP, because I had more priorities to start, like larger ones. I don't have team player on Diego yet because I don't have the weapon tokens. Like through arenas I'm getting some weapon tokens, 125, but I haven't upgraded my stun weapon yet. But my plan would be to get team player on that green stun weapon, the defensive one, because I think Diego is a great lead to use, and I still foresee using him in the future, especially based on the other tunes that I have. This team right now is a bit dangerous for me, just because of, oh, what's that? More defense. Just because of all the bleed potential. Now, I'm going to try and kill Wayland. Okay, and I got the kill of Wayland by the adjacent damage, and that's one way that I try to avoid Toon's item, or not Toon's weapons, as well as their abilities, by hitting adjacent Toons, because I'm fairly confident James will get a critical hit. Here, I could have recovered bleed, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I would have needed to use Glenn as an actual commander in order to, like what I just did there. I played the safer move by using Diego and then using his rush in order to defense down and impair everyone. I could have tried to command rush Priya, but I'm not sure what would have happened after that. And one of the least favorite parts to me about endurance mode is that I have to choose what tune I want to move forward. And this one's a hard choice because right now I have my leader, I have a commander, and I have Priya. Right now, Priya is my biggest damage dealer. She can also double as a lead tune. Now, I'm probably not going to use another ticket. I could, but I'm probably going to save my tickets for another day. So it doesn't matter as much on who I choose. Like right now, based on the other tunes that I have, it's either Diego or it's Priya. Can't save both. I'm going to save Priya. So as a first hit, 115,000 isn't that bad. Like this player up here obviously used some extra tickets as well. And there's not much I can really do about that. I kind of sit back for these. Let's see, what's my defense team right now? Okay, so I have my 6-star Mercer up right now. Honestly, I'm probably going to change out to Angel here. Throw in Dale as a command instead. And make a couple of adjustments that way. I haven't touched this team in a while. Angel will go up front. You know, just some defensive weapon. Priya does not get a weapon swap. Weapon rarity too low to equip. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to throw that on there. Going to keep him out. I'll put in Kapoor or Rav. I'll leave it as a Rav for now. And that's what I'll be rocking in classic mode. Draft mode, I have some fun with. It's a difficult mode to do, but I think it's one of the most rewarding in some cases. At the same time, it can be the most frustrating. So let's see what's still going on in these territories. I can't imagine much, to be honest, because as I mentioned, like, people don't really want them that much. Ooh, let's see this defense team. So an S-Class Mercer as the lead. Maiming shot, stun, attack. Double attack, basic attacks increased on Priya. S-Class Henyon. Trade advantage, damage, interesting choice. S-Class Leopold with an absolute defense weapon, and S-Class Pete. Oh, Pain Spread. So that's a fun little ability there. I think it would work really well on Bleed, as well as like toons that have been lacerated. But that's a pretty good defense team, so it's a bit of a rainbow defense team, but to be honest, it has a lot of killing power, and against a team like this, if I knew about it in war, I would suggest running a payback toon in a line, or a couple payback toons, because this type of team hits very hard, excluding Leopo and Pete. But if Mercer rushes, if Henyon rushes, if Priya rushes, that team is going to explode back. This team is interesting. I'm not exactly sure how the attacker lost. The attacker used a bleed lead with probably his Impair weapon still. Mia, Outlast, Stunner, doesn't do much damage, just 2500 maim. Cam. Okay, so I like this last ability, this fourth skill, because he's recovering HP consistently. Zack is Zack, and he's for control, so it's just kind of surprising to me that the attacker wasn't able to kill this defense team, where we have absolute defense, stun. It's going to be windowless is my guess. Nope, that's not windowless at all, actually. So that's just really interesting to me. Gao is a toon that I want to go for as an S-Class toon, because this active skill has finally been fixed. How high are my stun resists? We're going to take a look, actually, because I don't know how high my stun resists are. So my main attack team, you guys have all seen it before, really, combat mods. I have a 75% resist mod on Diego. That's the highest one, obviously. It's completely maxed out as a gold one. On Cole, 58%, not that high, and this really weak silver days resist as my only days resist mod. Glenn is at 56.5. James is at 61. And Priya is at 63%. So on my double attacking toons, multiple rush attacking toons, like James and Priya, I have higher stun resist because on their basic attack rushes, they could get stunned. So yeah, that's the stun resists on my team. Saving our beatings for Friday, yeah. We're saving our beatings for Friday as well. Ooh, looks like a lot of people are attacking down here. Interesting team, kind of more of a rainbowish team, this attacking team. Almost seems like it was auto put together in some ways, because there's like no commander, for example, but you have a Diego for defense down, but you also have Alice for attack up, Pete to revive, and Arav to do what Arav does. I wonder if Priya does not have Rampage. Here, if these all have 8% weapons, then this is a turn 1 rushing team. It does not, so it's not a turn 1 rushing team, but it's very close. I think Arav could still rush on the first turn. I believe it's 6 AP for each of these 8% weapons to Arav, so that's 12, 24, 24, and then if this is huge, is 40, so that's 24 and 40 is 64, so it's 2 AP short of being able to rush naturally on turn 1. So who is this? Duffman. I see you have a 5-star weapon on Harper. If you want to switch it out for a 5-star AP weapon, this team should be able to rush on turn 1, where after Arav attacks, you should be able to command rush him with Maggie. And as long as he gets a kill, then so he'll get his follow-up and he'll be able to attack again. So that's like 2 rushes on the first turn. This is definitely rushing on the on the second turn. So it's still a strong team. Not sure what that was. This team, again, kind of interesting. I guess the main pieces and components go with the Priya lead. that being Krista and Priya, but the other two, Harper and Henyon, are a little bit of a mystery to me. Yeah, some of these attack teams are interesting to me. I'm wondering if people are hiding their attack teams a bit. This team here, so how this team works, if you attack with Diego first, as well as Arav, and then you use Doc's active skill, followed by commanding him with Maggie, the AP will go to Diego as well as Arav, and then you attack last with Priya. So then on the next turn, you can rush Diego first before attacking with Arav. He probably kills at least one toon, then he attacks the other line, and then you can command rush him as well. So there's just lots of options. So this is a good team to use. If you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to ask in my chat section. I'm kind of just going through kind of what I see and breaking down kind of the different teams that I'm seeing, both regarding mostly regarding attack, just because like defense wise people are hiding their best defensive teams at the moment. This attacking team here, same principle as the last one, you know, attack with Diego and probably Amber first, could be Priya first before using Doc's active skill, and then command rushing him with Glenn, so that the AP always goes to Diego and Amber. Yeah, a lot of these attack teams are pretty consistent, like with what you expect to see. You see a lot of Dr. Stevens, of course, because he helps you with rushing fast, and obviously the more times you can rush, the better off you usually are. Usually, not always. This seems like that auto attack team again. Hello, Inu? Lombrado. Again, thank you everyone for tuning into my stream. Hi Radcliffe, hi Bloodline, John, Diablo, JY Jelly. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to show you guys right now. Ooh, I guess I could show you some raids actually, because I have 6 energy. Let's see, S13 plus, so not exactly a high defense team, but we'll still take a go. I can't use Cole to start off with. Interesting, these double attack weapons. I'm going to attack first with Priya and split up my attacks. This next turn I might take the risk and I might rush Priya. I'm going to rush Priya now because I got that rampage to go off and the match is over. So as you see, like in some cases, using rampage can be super effective because it can end matches almost before they even start. S16 plus, we'll see. Stun available. Defense, let's see, we're gonna see how we get along here. I know that Gao's gonna use his active skill this turn. Pete is also going to use his active skill. Jessie has the ability to use her active skill as well. So HP gain, that's not a huge deal to me right now. I want to kill at least one toon because of that defense bonus that's on the one weapon. These active skills are not a huge problem. Rolito did end up impairing my Priya, which is unfortunate, but it shouldn't slow me down too much. Right here, not a huge issue at the moment. Going to rush in the center, get some rampage going. Rolito is going to go off, I think. Yep, so he's gonna bleed, which isn't a huge deal. That is unfortunate about James dying, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to confuse here, attack here, and just auto the end of that. Oh, people want to see Priya's weapon? Sure. I will show you guys that right now, actually. So Priya's weapon. So this is what I swapped on. It's not perfect. I would have preferred the double attack with 175% attack and crit, but this is the weapon that I had. Rampage. See you later, JY Jelly. So this is the weapon you guys were talking about. It's an awesome weapon actually, and I just changed my Priya's mod set up to attack mods, and I was going to do a video on that to kind of explain it because there's some math involved to kind of understand it, but to give you guys kind of an idea of where like my head's going with it. If you read how Rampage works, so basic attack, critical hits will hit 2 additional enemies for 150% of damage of a basic attack. So I'll let you guys kind of think about that for now. I'm still going to put out a video about it just to kind of explain. I always find that it's helpful to explain like what's going on and to break it down because not everyone can get onto these streams, of course, and sometimes it's difficult to catch up on what's been going on. You know what, let's go against a Leopo lead. They can kind of be interesting. So this team is interesting actually. Very interesting. I'm not seeing mods everywhere, so that's going to help a bit. I don't care about the exhaust. I do care about here. So she is going to end up using this active skill and pain splitting. This is actually a tough team because there's not really a safe target to hit. I'm going to try for Wayland first, and here Rampage is pretty dangerous to use because the Rampage can still trigger Bide. Okay, so going to do this, my usual kind of defense downing here. Triggered that, going to attack there, triggered Bide again, and it caused me to blow up. More Bide is gonna go off. So yeah, this team is actually pretty difficult for me because of all the Bide that ends up going off. I think I would have to switch and have Princess in this team. I'm actually gonna go and attack this team again in a second, but I'm going to use a different team for it just because it's very likely that I'm going to trigger Bide consistently. And when Elle is able to use her rush, which removes focus and then forces taunt, it basically forces my toon, no matter what, unless I end up stunning them, to continue attacking and just charging her Bide. So I'm going to flee that. I'm going to switch teams. I'm actually going to make a team here. So I'm going to keep Diego as a lead. I'm going to keep Glenn. This is my disarming Cole, which I'm going to use. I'm going to keep Priya in here, but now I'm going to sub in Princess instead. Now, another option I have, I could sub in Douglas as well, because the Guardian Shield can protect me from Bide, but I'm going to try this first and see how effective it is. Part of the when I go about raids is seeing what works and what doesn't work in anticipation of war. So not everything I do is going to work right away. Most of the time it doesn't, and it's all about experimenting. And I forgot to change Priya's weapon, so she has her day's weapon right now. So this is going to change how this match goes as well. And that's mainly because I was being forgetful. So that is a little bit annoying, and it's my own fault really. If I'd been focusing, I wouldn't have missed that. This part here is nice because I just got rid of Bide as well as Payback. I did end up triggering a bit of exhaust, but Leopo's exhaust is a lot lower than Angel's, so it's not as big of a deal. Right now is my opportunity to kind of kill some of these other toons. Priya has her rush, Princess has her rush. I'm going to rush this line right here, and it should end up killing them both. Now I have to think because I'm likely to end up triggering Cameron Scar. This is the second turn, I think. Might be the third turn, actually. This is the third turn. So he's going to end up using his active skill in a second. So I want to be able to control that. I need to wait 2 more turns before I can actually use Princess's active skill again to normalize both these Bide toons. And I should be able to control it for that long. I'm actually going to let my Priya rush here and see... Wait, what did I trigger? Oh, okay, that's interesting. So what happened right there, Elle was pain splitting with Leopo, and I guess my Priya hit her hard enough that the pain split ability and so that the Bide didn't actually end up triggering, because the amount of damage that I applied was enough to kill both of them. And that does not happen very often. So that was kind of a shock to me as well. Okay, I'm a little behind. Waylon would definitely do a better job. Yes. So I think I have an interesting idea. Like, I would really like to see, say, Armory A is run by Wayland, and Armory B over here would be run by Earl. Let's say Wayland only does melee weapons. Well, not only, but say he gives you a 5% greater chance at getting a critical success for melee weapons, and Earl would give you a 5% greater chance at doing ranged weapons. I think that would be an interesting twist to things, because then you could strategically choose which weapon maker you would want to make your weapons. Here again, going to attack Rolito first. See, I was able to trigger a bit. I like being able to stun Rolito. I didn't get my taunt on Magna. I'm going to start with attacking with Glenn, because if he ends up becoming impaired, it's not as big of a deal as, say, Diego. So right now I'm still kind of safe. I'm going to continue with my attacks. I can't see who that is. Okay, so it's Mia who's rushing. She's going to apply 1,500 maim damage, I think it is, or 2,500. So my tunes are still alive. I can focus Diego, command, attack, defense down here. I'm going to rush on Mia, actually, so that she's confused, impaired, all that good stuff. Okay, and Rampage kind of took over at the end, so Mia can't bring anyone back right now. And it's just Magna, so I'm just going to auto the end. But yeah, so that's kind of the effect of Rampage right there for you. But again, it's hard to kind of capture everything as it happens, because sometimes it happens so fast that you can't pay attention. Let's see, an S14 team. I'm going to pass on that for now. S13++. I already did the route map, actually. So I ended up doing the map while on stream. I don't want to fight a low level. Let's see, what's this person? S15. Let's see. Who do I want to attack? So that's that splash. I'm going to try to take that out early. Not going to have that opportunity. I am going to what's this, taunt, and cut her attack so that she doesn't end up rushing on me to start. She could still get splash. It just means she's less likely to actually hurt my team badly. Okay, let's see. I can't attack Pete again, because I don't want him to gain any AP, because then he could be command rushed. Kapoor being command rushed is not a big deal to me, because Kapoor just does line damage. He offers some extra defense, but kind of what I do with the extra defense, I remove it with Priya. I'm going to taunt in the center. Okay, that didn't work. That's okay. I can still rush with Priya. She does a high enough damage that she can do a significant amount of damage to the opponent. Kapoor's not going to rush there, because he just used his he was command rushed the turn before, and right now it's just me and Priya at the moment. Going to taunt her, try to stun her, and I'm just going to auto the end, because even losing that tune, it's not a huge deal. I often lose tunes because I use a lot of 6-stars still instead of having a bunch of S-class tunes. Yep. I'm not going to check what that mail is right now. I'm not sure if it's something I can show you guys or not, so going to try and stay respectful that way. How would you attack a Mercer team? So I actually did my arenas, and the first 3 teams I think that I attacked, it was against a Mercer lead, all Mercer leads. So I just used my main attack team, and I had a lot of stun resists. Most of the time I only had like 1 or 2 tunes stunned, so it wasn't a huge deal. The other option I see is using a Mercer lead against a Mercer lead, and I don't have that yet. I don't expect myself to have it before war, just because I can't get the 95 cards that I need. So right now the best I can tell you is RNG luck, because there's no way to nullify it. I do expect a lead to come out where you have like a 50% chance to resist stun, kind of like how Lance has a 50% chance at maim resistance for the whole team, so I expect something like that regarding stun soon, just to kind of nullify Mercer, because Mercer is definitely very OP. I'm just gonna put it on auto on another road map, and I gotta jump out and move my car again, so I'll be back in just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Had to move my car. And catch my breath again. There should be a 5-star war. A 5-star war would be interesting, but you would also need to have a lot of time to prepare for that. Like, I fodder most of my 5 stars, so the only 5 stars I really have are my turn 1 attacking team and a few other tunes that can take their position, but otherwise, like, I've been focusing a lot on my 6 stars and my S-class tunes. Oh, see you later, Moon. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, playing parking roulette is right. I just don't want to get another ticket. Rampage is good, but when they have a defense team that have bide or payback, you have to be careful. You could, but at the same time, payback, it's less so. Like, payback, you have to rush. Technically, Rampage isn't a rush, so if it's off of a basic attack, and I don't mean if Priya rushes and Rampage triggers, but off a normal one, Rampage can also take out a payback tune right away. And yes, that's why Priya and Princess go really well together. The Dog Paws event is very messed up. Most people aren't bothering with the limited time territories. Like, I was just, before this, I was going through these territories with you guys a bit, and like, it's a missed opportunity. I was also kind of going through people's attack teams that they were using. Ooh, a Mr. Jones. I like Mr. Jones. So, oh, see, right here. This is someone who decided to not go with any AP. So, this is okay when you're running someone like Doc Stevens, who can give AP to Priya. So it doesn't matter that she doesn't have that AP, so long as Dr. Stevens like isn't dazed and there's no exhaust really in play. So this is a fun little team here, actually. Defense-wise, stun, absolute defense, stun, stun, and more stun. So windowless team. I'm gonna guess there were some reflect damage mods that ended up killing Priya. Yeah, so this is something that I kind of do as well when I take a look at territories and stuff. I kind of get an idea of what other people are running. It gives me an idea of what I need to run as well to be successful. So just a little bit of insight there, so if any of you guys are interested. So guys, I think I'm gonna end up wrapping up my stream now. You know, I showed you guys some raids, I showed you guys some not draft mode, but some arena stuff. I was able to show you guys kind of what I think about the territory event. Ooh, really quickly, big shout out to our new CM. They will be introducing themselves soon. I can't give you I can't give away too much, but I think the new CM is going to do a great job. I've got a lot of positive vibes from him already, and I hope that all of you guys like him as well. In some other news from me, I will be covering some more games soon, so more information on that. And you know, it's kind of something fun for me to do. It's always been fun for me to be able to cover The Walking Dead Road to Survival, but I'm going to have the opportunity to do some other things as well soon, which is going to be amazing. Hey Matthew, I'm good, thanks. Hey Pixie Vamp. Night Bloodline. Oh, there's one other thing I should probably mention before heading off, and I'm just going to speed through this roadmap quickly because I know a lot of you guys don't know about the news feature. Yes, finally a new CM. But in the game, actually, you can actually find some of my recent YouTube posts, as well as Lockdowns, Invisinerds, Chantel Hawk, GBZ, Man on the Moon. So you can find all of our stuff without having to go directly to YouTube now, because not all of our stuff, but a lot of our stuff is actually uploaded to the blog, and you can access the blog in the game. And I'm going to show you guys that just in a second here. Just in a second. So, on your main screen, this news button with the air horn. If you hit it, then you see, latest posts, you see the news from Scopely, but then at the bottom you can kind of get into some of our videos. So you see some of my videos there, Man on the Moon, Chantel Hawks. That was GR's farewell to the community. If you hit share more, we have Invisinerd there, we have Lockdown, some more of my stuff, and you just kind of see that everything kind of gets uploaded here. So if you're ever looking for some content from the content creators here, take a look there. It can be very helpful, especially when you're trying to find a direction in the game, or if you're curious about something new in the game, we sometimes have information about it. If you guys have any requests on videos that I should do, feel free to let me know. I know I'm very behind on my trauma video. It's just, trauma is such a unique ability, and it's very difficult to explain because it happens in very specific circumstances. So anyway, guys, I'll be back soon. I will be streaming War of Champions, and I'm also a participant. So we will see my attack teams, and we will see all of your defense teams. Anyway, this is Link, signing off.